Om Sthapakaya cha dharmasya sarvadharmasvarupine Avataravarishthaya Ramakrishnaya te namaha. Sri Ramakrishna is taking the subject of Brahman, the absolute existence, in which the whole universe appears like a speck in the ocean, endless ocean of Satchidananda, existence, consciousness, bliss absolute. In that ocean, we all appear with the universe, disappear time and again. What is that Brahman, the ultimate, that alone remains and all is subjected to constant change and disappearance and appearance? What is that eternal substance which never changes, which never gets exhausted, which doesn't undergo any change? What is that? What we call Brahman, the impersonal absolute. So Master is explaining in a beautiful way, charming way, what the Upanishads are giving. Sri Ramakrishna's conversation now turned to the knowledge of Brahman. Master, Brahman is beyond Vidya and Avidya, knowledge and ignorance. It's beyond Maya, the illusion of duality. We discussed all this in detail. The world consists of illusionary duality of knowledge and ignorance. It contains knowledge and devotion and also attachment to woman and gold, righteousness and unrighteousness, good and evil. But Brahman is unattached to these. Good and evil apply to the jiva, the individual soul, and as do righteousness and unrighteousness. But Brahman is not at all affected by them. This whole thing we have seen, Brahman, how the Brahman is not affected, just like space, akashamiva nirlipta. These appear and disappear, space remains forever. As long as the relative existence remains, all the objects remain, the space remains. When all objects go back to the cause, space also dissolves. But that doesn't dissolve, in which the space is going to dissolve. Then just like Shankaracharya and other acharyas, put a question and answer the question. It's called pratipaksha. The opponent, Shankaracharya, while writing the bhashya, raises a question as an opponent and answers it. What question may come in the mind of the reader, he himself puts and answers. It's called pratipaksha. Here Sri Ramakrishna is following that system as if one man, who is giving an example of the same Brahman, unaffected by. One man may read Bhagavad Gita by the light of lamp, and another may commit a forgery by that very light, but lamp is unaffected. Light, it equally gives, you can never say, because light has given the light, I could read Bhagavad Gita. Light is responsible for my reading. Another may say, if light was not there, I would not have done forgery. Light has given the opportunity for me to do the forgery, and light is responsible for my and the light must be punished or light must be rewarded. No. Light does its work of constantly, whether person utilizes or not, whether he does forgery or reads Bhagavad Gita, it is immaterial to it. It remains unaffected by the light it spreads. The sun sheds its light on the wicked as well as on the virtuous, on good people also, bad people also. It equally, vitamin D shortage. If sun doesn't shine on the wicked people, long back when we were being trained in the army attachment course, they showed a rifle, which if it is shot, if you shoot, it will hit only black people. It will not hit. Bullet will not come on. The sensors are there. If white people are there, bullet will not come. It's a running machine like AK. But it will continuously, white it sees, the bullet will not come out. Black it sees, bullet will come out. Like that. Sun only shines on good people. The black people immediately it will withdraw. No. It shines all the time. Now he raises the Pratipaksha, the question. You may ask, how then can one explain misery and sin and unhappiness? How then can one explain misery and sin and unhappiness? If Brahman is not partial, a person doing good is rewarded with joy, and another is how this happens, why there is, just like nature. So many living beings in human itself, human species, among the human species, some are joyful by birth, some are by birth they are miserable. Some don't have eyes, some don't have leg, some don't have brain. Is nature partial? For some people it is giving a good body, for some it is giving bad body, diseased body. Is nature partial? Like that. Is God partial? Good, bad, instigating someone to do bad acts and get misery, unhappiness, sin. Is it so? Sri Ramakrishna is answering. The answer is that these apply only to Jiva. Brahman is unaffected by them. Just like I said yesterday, I gave the example of space and suppose TV waves or mobile waves. Mobile waves travel, but space is unaffected. Then someone asks, how does then TV set will work? It has nothing to do. It applies only to your TV system, broadcasting and receiving. It doesn't refer at all to space. I say space is unaffected. Then how does this work? Means it is just like asking, if today is Tuesday, what is my age? It has no relevance. It applies only to the system. How does if it is not affected, if space is not there, It cannot travel. Space is necessary to travel. But by its travel, space is not going to affect. The questioner is asking, then how will it travel? It applies to your system only. This is broadcasting and that is receiving. How will it work? It is. Your system is working. It applies only to your system. If space is not there, no TV. Air. If air is not there, sound will not travel. Sound needs air to travel. If you through vacuum, sound cannot travel. So, I don't hear. So air must be vacuum. It is not that. It is apply. Answer is that these apply only to Jiva. Why this question comes is, except Brahman, nothing exists. What all you see as Jiva, Jagat and everything is Brahman only. If Brahman looks like Ganesha, it is only name, form and movement. The substance is same. Nama, Rupa and Karma. These three are represents. Same Brahman is appearing just like in dream. Same mind is appearing as the world. When you wake up, the world is not there. Because mind was appearing as world. And with waking, the name and form, mind had taken name and form. Name and form was unreal. Mind alone was real. These are taking, God has taken this form. Form is unreal. If you remove the Nama, Rupa and Karma from this world, Brahman alone exists. Ice, water and steam, mist, fog, dewdrops, everything is water. What is the difference? Difference in states and form. The same substance is appearing in many ways. These apply only to Jiva. Brahman is unaffected by them. There is poison in the snake, but though others may die if bitten by it, the snake itself is not affected by the poison. Poison is within its mouth. Nothing happens. But if it bites others, he will not complain anymore. Snake has bitten me. He has to come in new body to tell that snake was bitten. So it is not affected by it. What Brahman cannot be described. After telling all this, he has explained what Brahman is. Whatever I have told you as Brahman and you have understood as Brahman is not that. Brahman cannot be described. Jiva and Brahman he explained. Now he is explaining why this problem is coming, all these questions and doubts coming is because what you think to be Brahman is not Brahman. You are trying to bring Brahman in your mind. Mind is such a small thing. It reflects, but it doesn't contain that object. Now, in car, while driving, we have a mirror. In that mirror, you see a huge bus coming behind. Bus is there in the mirror. So small, such a big, how did it enter? Like that. It has not entered. It's only image. Bus cannot enter into it. So Brahman he is telling everything, and what Brahman is cannot be described. It doesn't apply to Brahman, and all this is qualitative analysis. Existential object is entirely different. So it cannot be perceived by senses, it cannot be conceived by mind, it cannot be understood, discerned by intellect. Vang manatita yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasa saha. We have studied in Taittiriya Upanishad. So it comes back without reaching it cannot express. That part is telling, whoever, all the scriptures, whatever they are told about the absolute existence, Brahman, and what we have understood as Brahman is not Brahman. Brahman cannot be described. All things in the world, the Vedas, Puranas, the Tantras, the 6 systems of philosophy have been defiled like food that has been touched by tongue. Uchishta hoyeche. It has become uchishta. For they have been read and uttered. Only one thing that has not been defiled in this way, and that is Brahman. No one has ever been able to say what Brahman is. There is one Upanishad called Kena Upanishad. In that Kena Upanishad, he goes on describing by mind, which cannot be conceived, and which makes mind function. In this one also, our daily Aarti. Namo Namo Prabhu Vakya Manatita Manovachanaik Adhar. It's only Adhara for Vak and Mani is Brahman. But that Vak and mind, Manovachana, it cannot understand what it is. Space has, Brahman has given. If Brahman is not there, Namo Namo Prabhu, Vakya Manadita. Vakya, words cannot explain, mind cannot conceive it. Such a thing. And that one, and what is the Adhara for that? Is God. God is the Adhara. God is Adhaya also, and it cannot understand, it cannot perceive. Without God, without Brahman, I cannot speak, I cannot exist. I speak because Brahman is behind, God is behind, Atman is behind. I understand because, but mind cannot understand, speech cannot explain. That in the Kenopanishad he goes on telling like that. Similarly, intellect, similarly senses, all senses, chakshu, shrotra. Yat chakshusha na pashyati, yena chakshunshi pashyati, tadeva brahma tadvidhi, nedam yadidam upasate. What a beautiful expression you see. Yacha chakshusha na pashyati. Chakshusha, you cannot see with eyes, but eyes are being seen by it. Beautiful Upanishad. Begins with the question, Kena? Keneshitam patitam prechitam mana. It begins. Mandukya Upanishad, Mundaka Upanishad, all these deal with the Brahman. Here he says, Nedam Yadinam, whatever you think, worship as God is not God. Because it has been conceived by mind. Within mind it has been just like thinking of Brahman is just like the bus in the mirror. Bus in the mirror. That is not bus, it is image. What you think is like that. Whatever you think as Brahman is not Brahman, because Brahman is Brahman. Mind is mind. Bus is bus, mirror is mirror. So you cannot say, I have conceived, I could understand. No. So mind is such a small thing, like senses, as limited. It can limited understand. Limited cannot understand the unlimited. There he says, Yat chakshusha pashyati, yat yena chakshumschi pashyati, tadeva vidhi tad brahma nedam yadidam upasate. Tadeva brahma, by which the eyes are seen, which eyes cannot see, but by which the eyes are being seen, eyes are being empowered. That is Brahman, which you cannot conceive what it is. Only hint. You have to transcend mind and go beyond. Why that hint is given? Now, when you go to Udupi, the moment you go out to the main road, you will first Udupi, one board will be there. Udupi will come, then there will be 46 below, 46 kilometers away. Everywhere there will be Udupi. Up to Udupi you will see Udupi only. And Udupi has not come. It is given that. It looks like that. So here also we see the same law applies. Only one thing has not been defiled in this way. Defile means uchist hona. Touched by tongue is called defilement. That is Brahman. Everything has been uttered. What Brahman cannot be described. All things in the world, the Vedas, the supreme Vedas which speak about the Brahman, the absolute existence, the Puranas, the Tantras, the 6 systems of philosophy have been defiled like food that has been touched by tongue. It has been uttered. In Vedas itself, Upanishad itself it says, Yatra when you realize God, you are not that. You are not that. You are not there. You totally, the Brahma with Brahmaiva bhavati. He becomes Brahman. When you become Brahman only, you can understand what is Brahman. The whole bodily existence, the entire existence dissolves and you are left with the pure consciousness, Chaitanya. Yatra Veda Aveda Bhavanti. After realizing God, Vedas become Aveda. Vedas will not have value. Till then it is showing You need a map till you reach the goal. After that, whole day, after that also, map taking and moving about you will not do. But till then, you need, especially when you go in war fields and all, now sophisticated things are there. In 60s, 70s, when we were in NCC and all, map reading, they will give a map and give a place. Search where you are. Keeping a compass, this, that. We try to locate. Till they come and tell where it is, we cannot identify also. Specific places also, trees. In Britishers they had done these maps. Even today they are valid. Every tree, every house has been marked, which is there. Many of the trees are still alive. So that keeping, but once you locate, you know where to go, how to go, and when you reach the destination, through forests and you have to travel. You must know exactly where you are in the world. Now, sophisticated instruments are there. It will immediately show where you are. So, map is needed for you to go and identify every moment where you are. Suppose Kailas Manaswar you have to go, you have a map. Where will you identify where you are in the map now? There are specific. You have to go to particular place, some places and search which place matches with that. To take a map and go to Kailas Manaswar is almost impossible life. But they do. How much of work they have done to write a map. But map is not Kailas Mansarovar. Vedas indicate Brahman, but Vedas are not Brahman. After you will by heart and know everything, Vedas, you will go on cogitating in mind and trying to understand what Brahman is. And then you will see, you think you have understood, but you have not understood. We have a clear picture of Brahman through studies and Vedas. That is not Brahman. That's what Sri Ramakrishna is telling. Yatra Veda Aveda Bhavanti. When you realize God, till then Vedas are Vedas, the supreme text which gives you knowledge. The moment you reach, Veda becomes Aveda. Brahmana is not Brahmana after that. Shudra is not Shudra. Chandala is not Chandala. Chandala, Chandala it will become. When Sri Ramakrishna says, the only thing that has not, everything has been defiled, you have uttered it. Only one thing has not been defiled in this way, and that is Brahman. Nobody has been able to explain what Brahman is. No one has ever been able to say what Brahman is. You see, this is a Vidyasagar hearing that to his friends. Oh, what a remarkable statement. He relishes. I have learnt something new today, that Brahman is not defiled by tongue. Everything has been uttered and explained and it is conceived. Brahman. Nobody could explain, nobody could understand. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.